For those that don't know me, I'm Bill Raycraft, Director of Athletics at Malden Catholic, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here tonight for the Brother Dan Kremen Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Coming here 4 years ago, I quickly learned about the passion and pride that is Malden Catholic Athletics. It doesn't matter, and it's far-reaching, far further than what the building on 99 Crystal Street. You can be in a different state wearing something MC, and no doubt someone's going to come up and say, Malden Catholic, do you know this person? I remember this team. I remember these athletes. And there's a lot of passion that goes along with that, and a lot of pride. And it's the pride that shows here tonight in a sold-out room for these inductees that is evident to what Malden Catholic is and why it's such a special place. Before we get to the reason we're here tonight, I'd be remiss if I didn't do some thank yous. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our communication team, led by Diane, Elisa, and Shannon, who did an outstanding job behind the scenes of collecting bios, pictures, gathering information, selling tickets for tonight, decorating, along with our advancement team, did an outstanding job. So a round of applause, please, for our communication team. Next up, I'd like to thank our nominators. For those that know, we haven't had a Hall of Fame since 2005, so a 17-year hiatus. We decided to roll it out. It was about a year ago when we decided we were going to do it at this time. When we rolled out the nomination package, we had no idea if we were going to get 2 or 200, what the quality would be like, and I got to tell you, we were blown away with the quality, and for you who are getting an induct tonight, you are the best of the best. So thank you for the nominators. Now, along with that, if tonight or in the coming weeks, somebody crosses your mind, an individual or a team that you think they should be in the hall, please do a nomination. Our plan is to do this every other year, make it bigger and better and keep growing. But we want the quality that we have tonight to continue. So if you think we missed somebody, please nominate them and we'll get them in next time as well. All right? We have our nominations. I have to thank our selection team. All right? So we had a selection committee of 11 people. And when I talk about the pride and the passion and MC, those people showed it. We did tell them they were going to be anonymous so they could speak freely and openly. But when they spoke about each individual or the teams as we were going through each of the packets, you could tell there was pride. And I think each of them are here tonight as a testament to who you are as inductees. There's a lot of passion there for those at Malden Catholic still, all right, and those that have gone on. So thank you to our selection committee. And finally, I have to thank our inductees. We're indebted to you for your commitment you made to Malden Catholic and the standard that you set for our current students to emulate. I don't know if you'll reflect on it tonight or in the weeks or years to come, but you're becoming part of a very select and special group. Your name is literally going to be etched on the wall at Malden Catholic forever, and that means a lot. It means a lot to us who are currently there, and I hope it means a lot to you to know that you left a legacy. We always talk about leaving a place better than you found it. You've certainly done that. So thank you to our inductees for living and playing plus hockey. Now, I'm not the MC tonight. Some of you are saying, thank goodness. I'm just a warm-up act, and we do have some guests that are going to come up and speak. And our first guest is a special guest. You've seen him at some of the games. He's a big supporter of Malden Catholic. For For some of you who haven't been back to Malden in a while, seen a lot of growth, this person had a lot to do with it. It's my pleasure to welcome to the stage the Mayor of Malden, Honorable Gary Christensen.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Gary Christensen, Mayor of the City of Malden, and I have to state that I apologize because I think I'm at the wrong event. This says Malden Catholic High School, but I've always referred to this as the University of Malden Catholic. From their facilities to their academics to their sports, I couldn't be prouder to be part of a city that hosts this great school. Now, some people say that's not what I'm supposed to say as the chair of the Malden School Committee, but believe me, we are all in this together. And so as many great academic programs that we can have, the better off Malden and all of us will be. So I know my role here is to welcome everyone and to also say, don't worry about parking. Just tonight, though, just tonight. Last time I said that, someone gave me a ticket 6 months later. But it's really just to say thank you to you all for your contributions to our community. And, you know, I know sometimes we go to these events and we wonder why, you know, we're always going at such a clip in this fast-paced world we live in. I just want you to be assured that when you leave here tonight, you really have helped make an institution that has helped make Malden the great city it is today. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for what you have done. Congratulations to all the inductees. I see Steve Wachowski here, Brian Parrow, and then, of course, the incomparable Steve Frecker. He has meant so much. People call me Mr. Malden, but believe me, Steve Frecker, in my vantage point, is truly Mr. Malden. So thank you once again, and we look forward to working with you in the months and years ahead.
Okay, we are going to go and get started with this program. I hope you've enjoyed your meal, and just continue to eat, continue to get drinks. We are going to begin what we came here tonight to do, and that is to celebrate the Malden Catholic athlete. And I want to thank each one of you. You're probably wondering who I am. They were kind enough to put my name up behind me. I happen to be the 19th headmaster / president at this great school. There's many that have come before me. I'm number 19, as I said. We do have a couple of the giants that have paved the way. On a table back over there, we have Brother Richard Cook and Brother Tom Maria. Would you two stand? So this is going to be a tough group for me because, you know, we have a room full of athletes, and the next hour is going to require, you know, paying attention. And as any coach knows, athletes like to move. And I know they told me that this right side of the room, I believe, is almost all hockey players. Is that right? I've never seen a hockey player sit still, so this is going to be a challenge, I can see that. But I want to welcome you to tonight's Athletic Hall of Fame that we have reignited. And I will bring up the gentleman in a second we have dedicated our Hall of Fame to. But tonight truly is a historic evening. We've waited 17 years for tonight, if you think about it. And the bedrock of Malden Catholic, you have to say, is athletics. We have a trophy case
that can't hold the trophies anymore. We have closets full of plaques. We have people in this community. As soon as you say our name, they have participated, they have gone to watch, and they have cheered on Malden Catholic athletes. Now, the interesting thing about a Malden Catholic athlete, you will know we're not the biggest Catholic school in the area. We're definitely not the richest Catholic school in the area. But yet, this underdog, as some people say, a scrappy underdog at times, has shown over and over again through the years when you take a group of young men who have hearts bigger than their bodies and come together to compete, what can be done? And Malden Catholic, wherever you go, gentlemen, stands tall in athletics because of what you did on the field, on the ice, and on the court. And before we bring you up, I want to congratulate you for all that great work. I have a letter here from a graduate from 1964. His name is Ed Markey. He sent a note to us today. He says, I write to congratulate you on dedication of the new Brother Daniel Kremen Athletic Hall of Fame, and I applaud the most recent inductees. Brother Kremen epitomized Malden Catholic, having spent decades coaching and serving Malden Catholic students. I commend him, and for you recognizing him. To the new inductees, I know that throughout your time at Malden Catholic, you have worked tirelessly to meet your athletic goals. You demonstrated passion, dedication, and true grit. I'm sure your commitment to improving your skills inspired many Malden Catholic athletes that have come after you. I congratulate each one of you this day, and I'm glad to share my regards with all of you on this special occasion. I know I'm joined by your families and friends in the Malden Catholic community when I say again, congratulations, sincerely, Edward J. Markey, United States Senator. So he passes along his congratulations. 46 years this man I'm going to introduce and bring up spent in the halls of Malden Catholic. 23 years as a physical education coach, a coach of many sports, who showed young men the true value of athletic competition and fitness. Then he moved to our counseling, and there he still continued to guide freshman boys, and if you know if there's a group that needs some guidance, it's that group, through the halls in their time at the school. He retired last year. The school has not been the same, I have to be honest with you. So, starting tomorrow, we are going to include something additional in our building. We have two, because I want to give one to Brother Kremen when I bring him up here. It is a Brother Kremen bobblehead. We're going to display this in our trophy case. Give a round of applause for Brother Dan Kremen.
Thank you, everybody. So memorable. I want to express my thanks to Mr. Thornton and Mr. Craycraft for good choice of words. Reigniting. I like that. That's what we get going here tonight. Reignition. So great to see so many faces and recall so many memorable occasions of celebrating the blue and gold. I want to thank especially the parents. Made a lot of sacrifices to send their sons to MC, and it was always a pleasure sitting up in the bleachers with the parents and families and friends and cheering on the blue and gold. I hope that I'll be able to continue that tradition of cheering on our Lancers. I had the great pleasure of working with a colleague, one of the first men I worked with at MC, Mr. Barry Haley. He every year would speak to our incoming students, and he would encourage them, if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. And I don't know how many of the kids understood that joke, but I'd be over there laughing my head off. And then it came a point where that's what I was. I was an athletic supporter. So I hope I have been there for you to cheer you on whenever you've represented our school so wonderfully. You made me proud, this honorary Lancer. I'll never forget some of those occasions, celebrations. So it's good to see you all tonight, and thank you very much.
I ask Mr. Bobby Gregory to come forward, chair of our theology department, social studies teacher, former football coach, and as he will tell you in any conversation, the coach of our state championship mock trial team. Mr. Gregory.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to begin the induction ceremony. I will now introduce and read a short biography of the first inductee, a team induction, the 1960-1961 boys basketball team. The 1960-61 Malden Catholic boys basketball team had a slow start to the season, but finished with a 16-4 record after winning 10 straight games. The team won the New England Catholic Conference tournament and are the first basketball team in MC history to win the Catholic Conference title. Captain Tom Horn was recognized as a Catholic Conference All-Conference First Team player, and Tom Mamos was awarded the New England Catholic Tournament MVP. Here we have three members, Bob Creedon, Mike Ducey, and team manager Hugh Murphy from the 1960-61 basketball team, who will join us on the stage, and Mr. Bob Creedon will address you with a few words. So please welcome the representatives of the 1960-61 boys basketball team.
Malden Catholic has always been an amazing place, and I think this is reiterated tonight with this turnout for this event. I was a fresh-year kid from Chelsea who came to Malden Catholic, and I was amazed at the intensity level, both academically and athletically, at this school. It helped me get through my years in school, and it's hard to explain. Almost everybody in this audience has gone through the programs here. There's a certain cachet, there's a certain, there is a certain, you can't put your finger on it about Malden Catholic. And it helped me get through my life, get through competitive things that I've had in my life. And that 60-61 team was the ultimate in junkyard dogs. I mean, we weren't pretty. We weren't. We didn't have that perfect shooting form that all those boys from Lawrence Central had, but we gutted it out, and we won on a third overtime shot thrown in by a kid by the name of Bobby Kelly from half court. They were in tears. They were in tears in Lawrence Central. They expected us to win. I would believe that if Mike, two more fellas here, Hugh Murphy and Mike Ducey. Feel free to say some words.
I will just say one thing. I'll give you a little story of the members of that team were such that they fly in the face of a lot of the stories you hear today. You hear a lot of stories about bullying and high school and that sort of thing. And my story is about an act of kindness. One of the seniors, Eddie Feely, and one of the underclassmen, B, upon getting out of the showers after practice one day, basically Eddie had to show me how to do the twist. Now, for those of you that don't know, the twist was the dance craze at the time, 60 years ago. And basically, Eddie had to show me that if you emulated drying your back off with a towel while simultaneously crushing a cigarette out on the pavement, you were doing the twist. The cigarette on the pavement was from another time. And the bottom line is, that simple act of kindness from a senior to an underclassman shows how a simple act can live for 60 years. Because every time I get out of the shower today, I think of Eddie Feely.
Looking back at my career at Malden Catholic, what I really appreciated was the drive for excellence in academics. Even the football players, hockey players, whatever, we all strove to the ultimate, and we were tested constantly. I remember taking midterms, which they did away with, I think, in our junior year, maybe. We were taking tests all the time. But in the end, it really prepared us, and all of us were fortunate enough to have that training which prepared us for college. We all graduated from good schools, and I want to thank the MC for that great academic background.
Thank you. This is 3 generations. Think about it, 61 years. We're still kicking.
Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, the members of the team will receive a plaque from Athletic Director Mr. Bill Raycraft, a pin from Brother Dan, and the school's congratulations, and a photo with Principal Jeffrey Smith and President John Thornburg. So if there are any other representatives from the 60-61 team and family members who would like to join us for the picture, please do so now. Once again, the 60-61 boys basketball team. Additionally, the members of the team will be presented with a gift from this year's 2022-23 Lancer boys basketball team. At this time, we will announce and introduce our next inductee, Mr. Stephen Wishowski, class of 1968. Stephen Wishowski, class of 68, was a 4-year member of the MC football and baseball teams. He was captain of the 67 football team and selected to the Catholic Conference All-Star team. He was a two-way player and starter for the undefeated MC Massachusetts Class B Championship football team in 1965. He is the son of Walter Wishowski, a graduate of MC's first graduating class of 1936 and an inaugural member of the MC Athletic Hall of Fame. He was also in the last graduating class from the, quote, old MC on Highland Avenue. After graduating from Rutgers, he worked at the Malden Redevelopment Authority, becoming its executive director for 25 years. As director, he planned, financed, and oversaw the construction of the Dennis O'Donnell Field and South Broadway Park, which now make up part of the MC Athletic Campus. Let us congratulate Mr. Stephen Wishowski, class of 1968.
Thank you all very much. I prepared a few remarks before I got the memo of the 3 to 5 minute time frame, so I've eliminated what I probably shouldn't say, things that I definitely shouldn't say, and some of the things the statute of limitations hasn't expired. But first of all, I'd like to congratulate all of the other inductees. Your accomplishments are certainly deserving. The MC Hall of Fame is obviously something very special to everybody. To me, being inducted in the same Hall of Fame as my father, who was in the first graduating class at Malden Catholic, is something that's very, very special. And going in with my classmate and my teammate and my very good friend Steve Harris, who was one of the best athletes that MC ever had, is again something very, very special and something that I'll always honor and enjoy. I grew up in a Malden Catholic family. I heard all the stories from the 1930s, including how Brother Gilbert, who discovered Babe Ruth, recruited players to play for Malden Catholic's first 4 football teams, raiding Malden High School's football team, having guys that were juniors at Malden High end up as freshmen at Malden Catholic. And, but MC won the Catholic Conference Championship every year for the first 4 years, so you have to applaud his ingenuity. And it certainly was the start of what, you know, Malden Catholic to me has always been about, which is, and it's already been talked about, a small school. When I was there were 200 kids in the school, 200 boys. You know, we played against the biggest and we beat them all. While I was there, we were state and Catholic Conference champions in football and hockey and track. And so every year it was expected that you would win, and it really didn't matter who you were playing against, whether they were bigger than you, had more people than you, because basically everybody did. But we did very well, and it was because of the type of kids that went to Malden Catholic. In the 60s, you know, we were the sons of policemen and firemen and DPW workers and blue-collar athletes from the west side of Malden and the east side of Medford, primarily. Yet, we came together, we were very successful, and we graduated from a school that had essentially no lab, no cafeteria, no place to assemble on a rainy day or in the cellar with the heating units. But it is something that every person that I've ever talked to, every person I ever went to school with, we all remember so fondly and so greatly going to Malden Catholic and being there. The brothers were phenomenal. The teachers were phenomenal. They were not only intellectuals, but they were characters as well. And you never wanted to miss school because you never knew what was going to happen. So, although I didn't graduate first in my class, I think I had a perfect attendance record. But the school and the brothers prepared me very well. We were taught how to express ourselves in writing and orally. We were pushed to be the best. And it didn't matter whether you were in the A group or the B group or the, what we called the pit at the time. And some of those guys are actually the most successful members of our class because of the, you know, the impetus that the Zavarians, you know, gave each of us to find what's best in yourself and improve and succeed. And that really has been the mantra that I've tried to follow. And when you look at the graduates of Malden Catholic that have come through there, people that have been successful on a national level in business and politics, and everybody tells the same kind of a story. I was the last graduating class from the little school on Highland Avenue, and they all say it was that familiarity, that, you know, closeness that was brought on by having to practically sit on top of the guy next to you in class, that really made us want to succeed. And we had a few other advantages. We certainly had a home field advantage in football. We played at Brother Gilbert Stadium, which was a beautiful lit field, one of the few at the time, surrounded by a 10-foot brick wall with barbed wire at the top and a river on one side. And I can't tell you how many guys I ran into since I graduated that I played against that would always say the same thing about how intimidated they were when they came to play us. One, because it smelled really bad. If you grew up in Malden as I did, you'd remember all those industrial uses down there, many of whom left Malden in urban renewal days and went to Love Canal in New York, which you probably all have read about. But they would all say, what's with the barbed wire at the top of the wall? Who were you trying to keep out or keep in? So it was good, and of course the basketball team, you know, we played our games at the Armory and with the low girders and the lights. If you didn't know where to stand to shoot, you know, MC won a lot of games because of that. So. And I mean, like everybody that went there, loved the school, loved being there, loved the brothers, loved the camaraderie, loved all the jocks. Most of the people were jocks. And I've cut out most of what I was going to say for time, but I will say this. I will end by saying, you know, we make a lot of decisions in our lives. Some of them turn out good, some of them turn out not so good. But my decision to go to Malden Catholic was the best decision that I ever made. And I'm so proud and happy to be a graduate of the school, and I am so honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with all of you great athletes and all the great people that have gone to the school. So thank you very much.
At this time, it is my privilege to announce the next inductee to the Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame, named now in honor of Brother Dan Kremen. Mr. Stephen Joseph Harris of the class of 1960.
That guy from '68 was impressive. First, Brother Kremen and Athletic Director Ray Kraft and the committee for induction. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you for this honor. I first have to say that when I first got the information or the notice of having to speak for 5 minutes, those of you who may know me, to stand up in front of you and talk about myself for 5 minutes is a little out of character. I hope you believe it. But this is a special night, and my family is here, and they're going to hear things about me they've never heard before. I just lucked into a state in life I was born into. I grew up in a small street in Malden, 3 blocks from Dever Park, and 1/4 of a mile from the grammar school and the high school. MC and Immaculate Conception were side by side. We would, when I was old enough to leave the house on my own, all anyone on the street ever talked about was sports. Sports all the time. And in fact, usually the discussion ended with Malden Catholic. At that time, I didn't know any other school existed. All we would do is play sports all day long. In fact, we would go to grammar school, would walk to the Immaculate in the morning, and before we left that day, we would arrange what teams were going to be which team that day, what we were going to play, and who was going to bring the equipment we needed to play that sport. We did that 5 days a week for 52 weeks a year. That's all we did is play sports. As I said, it was a small street, 35 to 40 houses. And when I lived there, to this day actually, there are 5 members of the Malden Catholic Hall of Fame who grew up on that street. One of the first people I met at Dever Park was my oldest friend in the world, teammate, classmate, Steve Wachowski. Something else I just happened to be born into. I was one of 6, second oldest of 6 in the family. My older brother, Red, is here. I have to say that Red is a member of the Malden Catholic Hall of Fame, a member of the Boston College Hall of Fame, and was drafted by the Detroit Lions in the NFL. Wow. Oh, by the way, he was also a scratch college. But he wasn't a bad athlete. Red set the pace for all of us in the family. All I did is follow in his footsteps, because when all the youth coaches found out that Red had a younger brother following him, they all came after me. We played the same Little League team, same Babe Ruth team, same CYO baseball team, same CYO basketball team. We played Pop Warner football for 3 years. What am I missing? We just, in the winter, when the reservoir froze, we skated every day, 5 days a week, and 8 hours on Saturday. That's all we did. I happened to run in the American Legion, Malden American Legion road race. It's one thing Red didn't do. But it was easy. It was fun. And because we're only 2 years apart, Red and I played in the same Malden Catholic football, hockey, and baseball team for a couple of years. And it was the greatest thrill of my life. Again, sports all the time. Another way in which Red helped me out, he doesn't even know this. We were both redheads, and Red was always bigger than me. But Red was the guy that got the redheaded temper. So as brothers often do, we had our squabbles. So when he came after me, I made sure he could never catch me. Unless I stopped and let him put an end to it. But that's how I developed my foot speed. After our sophomore year at MC, we were, as you heard before, undefeated state champions in football and Catholic Conference champions. I was walking the hallways of MC as a sophomore again, just after the successful football program. And Brother Constant, who was a great guy, Brother Constant stopped me in the hallway and said, "Mr. Harris, I want you on the indoor track team." I said, but brother, I'm on the hockey team. Yeah, don't worry about it. It won't conflict. So the very next Saturday, I had to be at Boston Armory, the Boston Armory of Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, 8 a.m. track for the first track meet. My event was the 50-yard dash. So sprints were always the first event in most of these track meets. And depending upon how many sprinters were on the other team, we'd maybe run one heat or two heats and then the final. But 50-yard dash lasts no more than 6 seconds. So my race was over pretty quickly. I was done early, but I would stick around and watch the rest of the team finish the meet. And I'd be home by noon normally. That same night, I had to be at Lynn Arena because every one of our hockey games was at Lynn Arena. So I played hockey every Saturday night, and I ran track same day for 3 years in a row. And I loved every minute of it. Couldn't have had more fun. My junior year, after our hockey team, we had a great hockey team back then, we just blew through the state tournament, but we got upset at Boston Garden in the finals, 1-0. So now, season's over, it's time to go to baseball. Well, the idea after that high of the hockey season, the idea of going and standing in the outfield for 1 hour every practice, catching fly balls for batting practice, I bored to tears. So I went turn the tables and I went to Brother Constant and said, brother, I'm not going to play baseball this year. I'm going to run outdoor track. My events outdoor were the 100-yard dash, and I anchored the relay team, and I discovered the broad jump, long jump at the time. In the track team, you qualify for the state tournament individually, not a team. So that year, I ended up finishing 4th in New England in the long jump. Senior year, all my friends were still playing baseball, so I went back to baseball. Later that same year, I was selected to play on what was at the time called the USA Junior Olympic Hockey Team. We played 12 games in Europe. Played Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Germany. We went 10-1, or 10-1-1. My line mate on that team was someone I had played with for 3 years at Malden Catholic, Eddie Kenton, who was also a member of the Malden Catholic Hall of Fame. And after that, I went on and played hockey for 4 years at Harvard. But nothing, all of that 4 years of college couldn't compare with my 4 years at MC. Absolutely loved every day at Malden Catholic. I was going to say something about how we were the last class of, 68 we were the last class of the original school. Well, we were the Blue Jackets. It's unfortunate, in my mind, that that disappeared. When we closed the school, the name Blue Jackets went away. In the 61 basketball team, there were blue jackets, blue blades, blue this, blue that, it all went away. In my mind, it's kind of unfortunate. But the Malden Catholic time was the best time of my life. I'd like to introduce or recognize the fact that my family's here. I have my 3 children, Toby, my daughter Meredith, and my daughter Melissa, in their spouses. Actually, all 3 of them were captain of their high school teams. They also all 3 played in college. The last person at the table is maybe my greatest success from high school. I married the captain of the Malden Catholic cheerleaders. And it'll be 52 years this May.
As Steve receives his awards, just a few more words about his career at MC. Steve participated in multiple sports at MC, as he said, including football, hockey, baseball, and track. During his freshman year with the hockey team, the team made the state tournament. In his sophomore year, the MC football team was undefeated and became state champions. In his senior year, he was ranked #1 in offense in the Catholic Conference. Once again, Stephen Joseph Harris, class of 1968, inductees from Brother Dan Kremer, Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. It is my privilege to introduce the next inductee, Mr. David Caputo, class of 1985. David Caputo, class of 1985, played MC varsity baseball and football. In football, he started on the offensive and defensive lines and was named the Catholic Conference All-Star in 1984. One of only 2 defensive tackles for the entire Catholic Conference to be recognized. In his senior season, he was named the Boston Herald Division II All-Star. As a senior, he started as an offensive guard and defensive tackle for the Catholic Conference co-champion Lancers, and he was a key contributor for a Lancer team that defeated St. John's Prep and BC High in the same incredible season. David played the interior of the defensive line with fellow Hall of Fame inductee John Layton. David and John were known as the Twin Towers and were difficult to handle for any opposing defensive line. He went on to start as a freshman and sophomore at left offensive tackle for Trinity College in Connecticut and eventually transferred to the University of Michigan and walked on to the team. He made the Wolverines as a nose tackle and eventually earned Rookie of the Week and Scout Team Champion awards, along with making the Rose Bowl travel teams and earning 2 Big Ten title and Rose Bowl champion rings, a varsity letter, and the iconic M ring, which was presented to David by the legendary coach Bo Schembechler. David has been enshrined along with MC on the letter winner's wall in the Chrysler Arena for public viewing. David earned his bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan and went on to coach many youth football and baseball teams over the years. Once again, David Caputo, class of 1985.
Hello, thank you for having me. For me, my MC experience was all about the people. I came here from Chelsea. When I showed up, I was a bit guarded. I had to give MC a real chance, and I had to work on really trusting the process. That took me personally a little bit of time, but as I trusted the people more, I made friends, I made bonds with my classmates and teammates, and I really bought in. MC became a vital part of my inner circle. My classmates and I, we came in as strangers, and we left as brothers. To this day, some of my closest friends, like Johnny Layton over there, are my MC friends. They're my lifelong friends. To me, the MC experience is all about the brotherhood and the fellowship that we found here. Sports experiences, that's easy. For MC, when I think about our senior year, we beat St. John's Prep and BC High. That was just unbelievable. Beating those 2 big programs, they have a lot of kids. We beat them good. It was fun. But I'd be remiss, I have some wonderful people to thank. Brother Dan Kremer, when he called me with the news that I was getting in, I was just over the moon. I couldn't believe it. Thank you, brother. He's truly a legend. The man's an icon. It's funny though, you want to play him in floor hockey. He was a savage back in the day. Not a joke. And MC faculty and staff, all the people that put this on, thank you so much, Shannon, Diane, and I saw Mr. Aria back there. He was an amazing teacher. I'll never forget you, Mr. Aria. Thank you for all you did. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Renee. She was the Revere High captain cheerleader, so there you go. Not too shabby. I'm going to be married 30 years in May. Thank you, Renee, for being a part of this and just being by my side for all these years. Thank you so much. My kids have traveled here from far and wide to get here. Some had to take planes, this and that. Some I threw in the car and I made them come. But thank you guys. I love you all. You're my pride and joy. Thank you so much. And this is a big one, guys. My siblings are here. Maria, Robert, and Anthony. They were unbelievable with their love, their guidance, encouragement, and support. Really, I just followed their path. I mean, they were incredible role models for me, and I have everything to thank for them. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. quick shout out, I know it sounds corny, but my Pop Warner coaches, they were MC guys. Leo Ryan, Mike Quivlin, Steve Quivlin. These guys made football fun. Myself and all my buddies from Chelsea, we all wanted to play in high school because of the job they did. Thank you guys, great job. Now, this is where I really want to get serious. Coach Paul Norton. If you guys know Paul Norton, he was my mentor at MC. Johnny also, I mean, this guy was a titan among men. So, Coach taught me all the ins and outs of playing O-line and D-line. He was incredible. He was a great coach. But more importantly, he was the man that put in my head that I could play college football. He took me aside one day and said, Dave, you can do this. You got to put the work in. You got to get bigger. You got to get stronger. He was the one that really told me I got to get serious about weightlifting. I was messing around with baseball too much and all that stuff, according to him. But honestly, he gave me the confidence to dream that dream. I think of Coach Norton all the time. When he was out doing some fun stuff like the Rose Bowl and all that stuff, honestly, Coach Norton was always on my mind. That man gave me that dream, he just gave me that inner drive that I could do it. Thank you, Coach Norton. I also want to thank Coach Lane. Coach Lane was incredible. He's a force of nature, ball of energy, passion, enthusiasm, grit, determination. Our team fed off his energy. He never stopped believing in us, so we believed in ourselves. We came back that season from a couple of tough, we were down a little bit, we won the games. Coach never doubted us and he had us believe in it. This guy was unbelievable. When I coached youth football years later, I thought about him and tried to channel that energy, but it's hard to do, especially when your team's losing. It's really hard to do that. But he was unbelievable. He's a great human being. Coached me in football and baseball, and I'm just a better person for hanging around with Coach Lane. Thank you, Coach. Another big thing I want to say is I want to thank my teammates. I mean, I played with some legends. Johnny Layton was probably the best lineman in the state when we were seniors. He was incredible. Gene Alston, John Simmons. We had some legendary guys we played with, but our whole team was made up a bunch of dirt dogs. And I consider myself with those guys. I'm taking those guys in the hall with me tonight because we all did this together. We had an amazing team. Thank you to my teammates for helping me become the player I wanted to become. You really raised the bar. Thank you so much. Now, this is the big moment. I want to thank two people in my life, my mom and my dad. So my dad passed away in 2015. Today was a bit of a somber day for me. I thought about him all day. I mean, the guy was my hero, my role model. He was everything to me. Everything I did was to impress my dad. I admired him, loved him, and respected him so much. I miss him every day. I wish he was here tonight. I know he's here in spirit. Thank you, Dad. And then I was afraid I was going to get shined before this, but I got to thank Nana, my mom. So my mom, she's here tonight. She's 85. She's going on 86. You'll probably see her at the Manos later playing Keno and having a drink. She's a hot ticket. She's unbelievable. But the sacrifices she made. So again, I'm a Chelsea kid. My mom worked full time. She drove old cars. She never took a vacation. Everything to her was making sure that I could go to Malden Catholic. And I didn't make it easy. I would whine and moan and groan and want to go back to Chelsea High. We didn't have girls at MC back then. I wanted to get up Chelsea High. My mom wasn't having it. She really, honestly, gave me a lot of tough love when I needed it. She made sure I stayed here. And really, Mom, this was such a gift you gave me and my family. It changed my life forever. I want to thank you, Mom. I love you. I want to leave you guys with a quote. Jimmy V, you guys remember him, he's a great speaker. He said, every day, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Well, that's the story of my life. I've been surrounded by ordinary people doing the extraordinary every day my entire life, and it's really inspired me to try to be more. Thank you, everybody else.
Once again, let's hear it for David Caputo, the class of 1985. Newest inductee of the Brother Darren Brennan Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. It is my privilege to introduce our next inductee, Dominic Jr. Vincenzo Jr. of the class of 1994. Dominic Jr. Vincenzo Jr. of the class of 1994 was a 4-year starter for the MC boys soccer team. He was the leading goal scorer as a freshman, a 3-time first-team Catholic Conference All-Star, 2-time captain, 2-time Daily News Mercury All-Scholastic, the 1993-94 Daily News Mercury Player of the Year, and the 93-94 Eastern Mass Soccer Coaches Association All-Star. His scoring goals were 34 balanced goals, 32 assists, with 3 state tournament goals included. In addition to soccer, he was a varsity basketball player and a member of the 1993 Catholic Conference basketball team. Dominic was also the Malden Catholic Student Council Vice President. In his senior year, Dominic Jr. Vincenzo Jr. of the class of 1994.
These are tough acts to follow. Steve, you should have went last. Like many others that were up here, I don't like to talk about myself, so I'm going to pretty much thank everyone that got me to where I was when I was at MC. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for this recognition. I am truly humbled and honored. I know this is an individual award, but soccer is a team sport, and no one is successful on the field by themselves. I'm going to thank mostly people that are here today. So first, I'd like to thank my mother. She was the one who sacrificed her weekday nights, weekends, driving us to games. I could probably say the same for Mrs. Lonigan. Thank you very much. Sorry for making all the noise in the basement, kicking the ball against the wall, but you got me here, so I guess it worked out. Mrs. Lonigan, I think I still owe you money for breaking your window on the same day when you had to show your house back in '87, maybe? So just send me the bill, I'll take care of that. To my sisters, Vivian and Paula, you were never on the field with me, but you were always there on my side. Thank you very much. To my older brother, Gabriel, who was class of '87, and also played soccer at MC. I don't think he gave me the option to go to any other high school, so I didn't have an option to go anywhere else. I'm from Medford. Medford has always been a powerhouse soccer high school, but that wasn't part of my my DNA, I guess you could say. Thank you for letting me tag along to your practices, for never letting me win when we played. He was 7 years older than me, so it wasn't even a fair fight, to be honest with you. I even tagged along with him when I was probably 10 years old to double sessions. Steve, coach, thanks for, I don't know what I did. I probably just shagged balls the whole time, but you made me feel like I was part of the team, so thank you very much. And on that, I'd like to say thank you, Coach O'Neill, for all the times you sacrificed coaching us. Back in the day, I felt like you were a coach. You didn't have any other job. That was your only job. But now as I am coaching at MC or helping out, I realize that it's what you sacrifice to help us out. So thank you very much. I appreciate all the Friday night speeches you gave us. You kept us out of trouble. Thanks for having faith in me freshman year to select me to be on the team. Mr. Mazzei, thank you very much. I was very proud to see that you were also being inducted today. You were a coach that if you ask any of your players after one of your motivational speeches, we would all run through a wall for you. The only sad thing was that you started the cross a couple of years after I graduated. I would have loved to play for you. All right, now to some of my teammates who are here. Trust and confidence are two very desirable characteristics that you need in teammates when playing. During my time here, I believe we had that on and off the field. I'd like to start with some players here tonight. Steve Dickey, you and Steve Russo in the goal gave us that confidence to play at ease and not worry about playing a completely defensive-minded formation. Not much can replace the feeling, having faith in your goalkeeper, or any other player for that matter. Jay and Luke, we were teammates for probably 5 or 6 years in Medford before we got here. and nothing can take that away. It's amazing when you play a team sport and you know exactly where your teammates are going to be at all times, have faith in them, have confidence. It's a huge advantage on and off the field. It's like playing with your eyes closed. And finally, I'd like to thank my biggest and definitely loudest fan, my father, who passed away 7 years ago. He was definitely the loudest fan over the course of my athletic career. No matter what sport I was playing, my father was always the loudest and screaming whatever he wanted. He got kicked out of indoor soccer games. He didn't care. I even tried to tell him to quiet down, and he just screamed my name, and I knew just to shut up right there and then. One time I was playing Little League, and I ended up hitting a home run, and everyone was cheering. And of course, I cross the plate, and I hear one voice screaming, "He should be on first base." So the umpire looked at me, and he's like, "Who's this guy?" And I said, "That's my father." And he was screaming that because there was an inside pitch right before that pitch that just grazed me. And the umpire asked me, he's like, "You don't want to go to first base on an intentional hit?" And I said, "No, of course not." So he was screaming throughout the crowd, and everyone was laughing. He enjoyed that. He taught me to love this beautiful game, how to compete. He taught me to appreciate and fully understand the game. He wanted to share his love for the game, which is why he was one of the originators and first presidents of Medford Youth Soccer. It was, at least when I played, I haven't checked lately, one of the most powerful youth programs in the state, consistently having multiple teams qualify annually for the state tournament, both girls and boys. When I attended Malden Catholic, he was semi-retired and attended a good amount of my games, probably to the dismay of Coach O'Neill, anyone else in the sidelines, and definitely that. He taught me how to do the small things on the field, which I feel led to a lot of my success. And today, I'm trying to pass that same advice onto the current players on MC's roster. So, whether they listen to me or not is another story, but hopefully this achievement will give me some street cred when I tell them to do something. I don't know if that's possible. What do you think, Maurizio? No? Definitely not. But this award is not just mine, it's for all of us, and I love you, Dad.
Once again, Dominic Jr., Vincenzo Jr. of the class of 19. It is my privilege to call forward the next inductee, Ryan Layton of the class of 2002. Ryan Layton was a three-sport standout in football, hockey, and lacrosse. He played 4 years of varsity hockey and 3 years of varsity football and lacrosse. In his junior and senior year, he earned Catholic Conference All-Star in all 3 sports. In his senior year, he was named the most valuable player by his coaches in football and hockey. That year, he was also elected captain in all 3 sports and earned the Extraordinary Achievement in Athletics Award. In his sophomore year, he was awarded Sophomore of the Year. Along with his athletic accomplishments on the ice and the field at MC, Ryan was also a member of the Brother Gilbert chapter of the National Honor Society. Ryan went on to play Division I AA football as a 3-year starter for Wagner College. He graduated with a BS in Business Administration from Wagner and went on to earn a Master of Public Administration in Fire and Emergency Services from Anna Maria College. He currently works for the Somerville Fire Department. Ryan Layton of the class of 2002.
Yes, it is hard to follow. So I'm just gonna go off script here. Or go on script, sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, fellow distinguished inductees. I'd first like to congratulate Malden Catholic on revamping, renaming, and dedicating the Athletic Hall of Fame after such an iconic Malden Catholic mentor, educator, and staple, Brother Daniel Crown. President Thornburg, Brother Kremen, Principal Smith, Brother Puccio, and Mr. Raycraft, Mayor Christensen, and the Malden Catholic Hall of Fame Committee, and distinguished guests. I stand before you humbled, appreciative, and thankful to be given the honor of joining such a prestigious group of Malden Catholic athletes. Today is a special day in my family, because not only am I being inducted alongside my brother Sean, but we both will be joining my Uncle John, Class of '85 Hall of Fame 2002. I had tremendous success on the ice and the playing fields during my time at Malden Catholic, but I'd be wrong not to thank or acknowledge the key contributors that led to my success and accomplishments. First and foremost, I would not be standing here today if it was not for my mother and father, Steve and Terry Layton. Being a father now myself, I truly understand the sacrifices and details that went into raising myself, my brothers, and my sister. Working multiple jobs so that my siblings and I can be involved in sports and activities. They always strive to give us what they never had. Their sacrifice, love, dedication awarded me the opportunity to attend Malden Catholic, where I excelled in not only athletics, and in academics as well. They'll always be my biggest fan. Everything we are today and everything we may become tomorrow is all for the sacrifices our parents made. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I'm actually glad I got through that without crying. Secondly, my coaches. My father was my very first coach. He instilled work ethic, dedication, purpose, clarity, and passion in every aspect of our lives, on and off the field. This was the base that I built that allowed me to build off to continue my career. At MC, I had the privilege of being coached by some of the best coaches an athlete can be afforded for multiple sports. Such coaches as like Coach Prescott, Coach Smith, Coach Doherty, Coach Marchese, Coach Frecker, Coach Vazay, Coach Lanigan, and Chuck, just to name a few. Case in point, two of them are being inducted today alongside Coach Frecker and Coach Vazay. Well, what sets them apart from other coaches is the fact that they influenced me not only in athletics but in the classroom as well, as some serve as teachers. To this day, I have close relationships with some still, and alongside my parents, they helped mold me into the man I have become today. Lastly, I'd like to thank my teammates. Some are in attendance today. I would not have accomplished anything if it was not for their contributions as well. I would not be inducted without them. We all work together to represent Malden Catholic to the best of our abilities every time we put that jersey on. Soon you'll hear shortly about the accomplishments and accolades. I was lucky enough to have the greatest teammate of all growing up and during the time at MC, my brother Sean. I get choked up for him and not my parents, right? It's easy to excel in athletics when you have someone so highly athletic and skilled to compete alongside of you. We pushed each other to succeed in everything we did, on and off the field. He made me a better athlete, and I believe he would say the same thing about me. Every single teammate of mine is a part of my personal success and a piece, and each of them is standing up here with me today. In closing, I'm thankful every day that I was lucky enough to attend Malden Catholic and represent the blue and gold. The academic and athletic standard is second to none. My wife Teresa and I have two sons of our own. Aiden, who's 8, Colin, who's 6. Hopefully one day they can follow my footsteps and possibly attend and benefit for everything that Malden Catholic has to offer, as I did. Sorry. However, I'm hoping that there could be a latent discount on the tuition. I'd like to congratulate all the inductees again tonight. Great job, thank you.
Once again, Ryan Layton of the class of 2002, newest member of the Cunningham County Malden Catholic Athletic Hall of Fame. At this time, it is my privilege to introduce our next inductee, Mr. Jack Levitt of the class of 2002. Jack was a member of the Malden Catholic swim team and a record holder in 2 events, the 100 free, 100 backstroke, team MVP in all 4 seasons, and MIAA state champion in the 100 deck in his senior year. Jack went on to swim at Seton Hall University upon graduating. In his junior year at Seton Hall, Jack won a Big East title in the 100 backstroke and was named a captain for 2 years. After graduating from Seton Hall, Jack started his coaching career at NYU, where he spent 2 seasons. From NYU, he moved to Boston and worked on the Harvard men's swimming and diving staff for 3 seasons. After Harvard, he moved on to coach at West Point for 1 season before getting his first head coaching position at Caltech in Pasadena. After 3 years at Caltech, Jack was named the head coach at Georgetown University in 2016, where he is currently the head coach. At Georgetown, he led the Hoyas to their first Big East title in program history in 2022. Jack Levitt of the class of 2002.
It's tough to get sandwiched between the 2 Layton boys. First, I'd like to take a moment to thank everybody that had anything to do with putting on this event. It's really a spectacular event to be involved in, and I'm truly honored to be a part of this incredible group. I don't know that anyone ever expects anything like this. So when I got the call, I really had a hard time thinking about how I got here. Luckily for me, I do work in athletics, and I had the opportunity to be at an event like this at Georgetown a couple weeks ago. And so just like any good coach, I'm going to take a lot of the stuff that I saw and try to pass it off as my own. I've never really left the sport. From the age of 5 until now, I've been living and breathing chlorine. I never really had to wrestle with my relationship with swimming or think about why I even started swimming in the first place. It's just always been a part of my life and continues to be so now. So in thinking about preparing this speech, I found myself having so much gratitude for the people who guided me along the way. First, I'd like to thank my wife, Megan, for being here. You didn't know me back in high school, but I appreciate you letting me relive the glory days a little bit. You and our 2 boys have been my biggest support during my entire coaching career, through all the long weekends away, coaching stops, cross-country moves, listening to the same recruiting pitches over and over on the phone for the last 12 years. Appreciate everything you've done. Thank you to some of my extended family for being here tonight. Megan's father, Jay, and Maureen, Ben, and Alex. You're all a big part of my support system as well, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Next, I'd like to thank my parents, John and Rose Levitt. They couldn't be here tonight, and I know it's killing them. Hopefully my wife's recording this for them. They truly were and still are my biggest fans. They knew very little about the sport and only ever cared about whether or not I was having fun. Their perspective helped me keep a level head about this sport and what it could do to further my education and my future, which, again, was a core value of Malden Catholic as well, so I appreciated them for pushing me to be at MC. Next, it's fitting that my aunt Michelle Doherty and my grandmother Joanne Levitt are here. As I mentioned, my parents supported this passion, but it would have never even started if my aunt didn't get my 3 older cousins involved in the sport. My dad just followed the lead of his older sister.
Her 3 kids swam, so I swam. They moved from teams from Lynn to Melrose to Malden to Revere, so I did too. Her 3 boys went to Malden Catholic, and I followed. It all felt like a foregone conclusion, and one I was happy to be a part of. They were the people I looked up to the most in my life. And so if they were doing something, then that was the gold standard. From the start of my cousin Sean's freshman year in 1990, through my cousin Brian, who was the class of 97, to my cousin Kevin, class of 01, and myself, my grandmother didn't miss an MC swim meet from 90 to 2002. So I know that we're looking for nominations for the next Hall of Fame class, and I think we've got one in Joanne Levitt. I remember going to see my cousin Sean, Brian, and Kevin go swim at Catholic Conference Championships with their coach, my brother Kremen. And Brother Kremen was nice enough to invite me along to the Prince Pizza afterwards with the team, and it made me feel like I was already a part of the team. I formed a relationship with teammates and representing MC, something I couldn't wait to do when I got to start in the fall of 1998. The teammates that I made, that I had at MC, really quickly became friends, and we shared a unique bond that I've always cherished. I loved everything about my experience at MC, and although I did get to spend 3 years here with my older cousin Kevin, I was able to have my own experience and relationships that helped guide me to the point where I am today. The importance of connection and community was stressed early and often at MC, and it's something that is a foundation of my life and my career. All the coaches and teachers that made an impact, getting to know me beyond a grade on a paper or a time on a scoreboard, are who I try to model myself after. My coach and junior English teacher, Mr. Murray, who's here tonight as well, who jumped into a position for a team that needed a leader. I don't think that he was really all that excited about it when he got there, but he provided incredible enthusiasm and encouragement along the way, and I'm very appreciative of that. Mr. Hickey's also here, he's my freshman math teacher. He was great because he would see how I did at a swim meet and quickly humble me by reminding me that he had to help me break into my own car after locking my keys in there at least 3 times. And also, lastly, Coach Frecker is also here. He's my baseball coach for a short period of time at MC. It's funny, I ran into Coach Frecker right before we came here tonight, and he said, "You could have been pretty good, but you're always too busy with that swimming stuff." So I appreciated that support for letting me miss practices, miss games, to go travel all over the place to swim. Because it really was a year-round commitment for me, but I still did love baseball. And I'll never forget that he actually came to a meet that I was swimming in the summer between junior and senior year of high school, and that really stuck with me. I'm trying, I don't even know if you remember that, but that really meant a lot. So I am up here humbly accepting this award. But I'm a living example of the phrase that it takes a village. So many people in my life have shaped and continue to shape the things that I've done and the person I hope to be. So thank you to my village, including my MC community, for this incredible honor. Thank you very much.
Once again, Jack Levitt of the class of 2002, the newest inductee to the Brother Van Kremen Malden Catholic Athletics All Day. I don't know if I have the authority to supersede the mayor, but there is a Honda Civic. Sorry. This Honda Civic license plate 6302 NB that needs to move immediately. You can take it up with the mayor. Honda Civic 6302 NB. Sorry about that. All right. It is my privilege to introduce the next inductee, Mr. Sean Layton of the class of 2003. Sean was a green sports standout in sports including football, hockey, and lacrosse. He played 4 years of varsity hockey and 3 years of varsity football and lacrosse. In both his junior and senior years, he earned Catholic Conference All-Star in all 3 sports. In his senior year, he was captain of all 3 teams that was named a Boston Globe and Boston Herald All-Scholastic in both football and lacrosse. He was also named an All-American in lacrosse. His freshman year, he was the recipient of the Freshman of the Year in 2000, along with the Brother Kevin Kenny CFX Award, and earned the Extra Achievement in Athletics Award his senior year. Sean excelled in the classroom and was a member of the Brother Gilbert chapter of the National Honor Society his junior and senior years. He went on to receive a scholarship to the University of Vermont to play Division I lacrosse, where he was the team leader with 26 goals and 42 points during his freshman and junior years. He was Rookie of the Year and named American East All-Conference Second Team 3 consecutive seasons. In 2006, he also earned All New England Second Team honors, and in 2017, he was honored by being named to the 40th Anniversary All-Time Team at UVM. Sean earned a BS in Business Administration from UVM and is currently a firefighter for the city of Somerville. Let's welcome Sean Layton of the class of 2003.
I didn't realize everyone was really good at speaking. But I'm used to this spot. Usually, you know, like my brother said, I'm usually right behind him, but I plan on doing it a little bit better than he did. But seriously, congratulations. I would like to sincerely thank everyone that had their hands involved in this process for thinking of me for this wonderful recognition. It is certainly one of the most meaningful and personal honors I have ever received, and I am really proud and flattered to be standing in front of you today. It is an honor to join a list of amazing people who have received this award in the past, which include my Uncle John, class of '85, and now my brother Ryan, class of '02, right? Having family members in the Hall of Fame makes this award that much more profound, because not many people can actually say that. I couldn't be happy to receive this award, and I can only imagine my fellow inductees feel the same. So congratulations to all you guys as well. Before I move on, I would like to thank God himself, the Malden Catholic Hall of Fame Committee, my coaches, my teammates, friends and family, and especially my parents, Terry and Steve. Without them, it would be impossible for me to be standing here and accepting such a prestigious award. The sacrifices they made got me here, and they do not go unnoticed. I'm appreciative of everything they have done for me. I'm not sure who I got the athletic genes from, but I'm sure glad I did. I may personally be accepting this award, but many other people were involved to get me to this point. I did not work alone. This award just isn't for me. It is for the people who believed in me since day one. I'm blessed to be surrounded by amazing people, and tonight some are here to support me. Thanks for showing up. Such outpouring of support humbles me, and this award makes it even more special. When I think back to the time I spent at MC, it's always with fond memories and a good feeling. I view MC as a big family where everyone is there to support you and lift you up so everyone can achieve. I was surrounded by teammates and coaches that pushed me. I am simply the byproduct of being a part of that environment. This truly is such an honor, but the thing that counts the most to me is the friendships, the love, and the pure joy we shared to making memories with everybody in school. I don't know how to make a grand speech, but I accept this award with every ounce of gratitude I can muster. Congrats to everybody else again. Thank you, plus ultra.
Once again, Sean Layton of the class of 2003, the newest inductee of the Brother Van Tremel Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next inductee, Mr. Brian Parrow of the class of 2004. Brian participated all 4 years of high school. He trained tirelessly in the off-season, working out and going to open mats, growing from the 112 weight class to 125 and culminating in his senior year as team captain, weighing in at 135 pounds. In freshman year, he had the most wins in history for a freshman, over 20, and placed 4th in sectionals that year. His sophomore year, he also had multiple wins per tournament and took 5th place at sectionals. His junior year, he went 25-13 and finished 4th at sectionals. In Brian's senior year as captain, he won the Wakefield, Middlebury, and Woburn tournaments and broke the senior win record with an over 30-win streak and most career wins ever at Malden Catholic with 110. He was also awarded Boston Herald All-Scholastic Athlete in 2004 and won the 2004 Extraordinary Accomplishment in Wrestling. In the 2004 season, he was the sectional and state champion, taking 4th place at all states and ranked 3rd in the New England Championship Tournament. Brian was also a member of the Brother Gilbert chapter of the National Honor Society and went on to go to Boston University, where he graduated with a Doctor of Physical Therapy in 2011. Let's welcome Brian Parrow of the class of 2004.
Thank you guys, thank you for having me here. I gotta be honest, when I got the call from one of my teammates, Robbie Iavana, I was pretty surprised. Going back to 2004, I never thought I'd be standing here in front of you guys today, but I'm incredibly proud and incredibly grateful and humble for all of the opportunities that were afforded to me. I don't think I'd be the man I am today or be standing in front of you if it wasn't for my teammates, my coaches, my family, and my friends. Growing up in Malden at the time, things could have gone a little bit differently for all of us, I'm sure. Going back to 1999, when I was a freshman and I joined the wrestling team, I remember the first day when I met my coaches, there was a quote, and 20 years after the fact, I still remember it word for word, and it goes like this: the successful person has the habit of doing things failures do not like to do. They do not like to do them either necessarily, but their disliking is subordinate to the strength of their purpose. And to be honest, at first I didn't really know a whole lot about what that meant, or the sacrifices that I would make because of it, but it certainly molded me into the man I am today. I made a lot of the sacrifices in wrestling that helped form me today. I had a lot of teammates. Robbie was my wrestling partner for 3 out of the 4 years. Ed Skinner, my co-captain, and also one of my teammates and co-wrestlers with me. Really grateful for him. And my coaches, of course, Mark Pulley, all the extra sessions we pulled outside of practice, all of the weightlifting sessions and mentoring he provided me. Darren Smith, all the times he'd whack me in my headgear and get my head on straight, make sure I knew what was important and what was on the line that day. Jeremiah Smith, the head coach at the time for me, he really took me under his wing and gave me a lot of extra attention when I really needed it in my life. Again, he was a great leader, great role model, and it's kind of crazy to think that in 1999, when I was 14 years old, he wasn't even old enough to drink. He was our head coach and he turned 21 our first year. But there were so many lessons he gave me over that course of time that I'll never forget. And then, of course, who can forget Jeff Smith? He definitely got me a lot stronger in the weight room, especially in my junior and senior year. And I remember at one point I had an injury and he definitely helped me in the sectionals. He was my cut man. And I kind of felt like Rocky for a little bit there, which was pretty cool. I never thought I'd have a cut man at 17 years old, but nonetheless. Of course, I want to thank my parents, all the affordances they gave me, the meals, the roof over my head, the security, and bringing me to practice every day, picking me up on those late nights. It's crazy to think that we'd be in there for 4 hours a day after school, and I remember a lot of times when all the other teams would finish, we'd be running around in circles, sweating our asses off for another hour and a half. And everybody would watch us thinking we were crazy, but it was good that way. I also want to thank all my teachers at MC, making sure that they held me accountable outside of the mat and in the classroom as well. I certainly wouldn't get to where I am today if it wasn't for them too. And then I want to thank Maureen Paul. She was a huge influence in my life and helped support me over those years. I remember all the tournaments where we'd get in there at 6 a.m., make weight, and then stuff our faces with all sorts of food that my mother would make for us. And then, you know, coming home at 10 at night and exhausted. That hard work, those sacrifices, and those lessons, I'll never forget. And I try to apply them to every day today. And I'm truly grateful. Thank you for my teammates, my coaches, my teachers. Thank you for everybody that's helped me get here today. I'm truly humble, truly grateful. Thank you again so much. Have a good night.
Once again, Brian Parrow of the class of 2004, the newest inductee, his brother Dan Kremen, from Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. It is my privilege to introduce the next inductee, Mr. Dario Pizzano of the class of 2009. Dario excelled in baseball for the Lancers. A 4-year letter winner and 2-time captain, 2-time Catholic Conference All-Star, and 2-time Catholic Conference batting champion, he has the most career hits in MC history. During his senior year in 2009, he won the Catholic Conference MVP, was an Eastern Mass All-Star and MVP, and was a first-team Massachusetts All-Star and MVP. Adding on to the 2009 accolades, he was named a Boston Herald All-Scholastic, Boston Globe Division I Player of the Year, and an honorable mention All-American. He played for Coach Frecker, another inductee tonight, being a part of some of the most successful teams in school history. In 2008, the Lancers won the Catholic Conference Championship and reached the EMAS Final. In 2009, they were the Boston Globe and Boston Herald preseason #1 ranked team in the state. Dario continued his baseball career at Columbia University, ultimately getting drafted in the 15th round of the 2012 MLB draft by the Seattle Mariners. He played professionally for 10 years, from 2012 to 21 for the Seattle Mariners, New York Mets, and Team Italy's national baseball team, reaching as high as AAA. Once again, Dario Pizzano, the class of 2009.
Good evening, everybody. It's so nice to be back at a Malden Catholic event, seeing so many familiar faces. What an honor it is to be selected to join this class of the Brother Kremen Hall of Fame with the other inductees in their illustrious careers. Every time I walked by the gym at school, I would see the display of student athletes that came before me, envisioning myself one day joining them. My knowledge of Malden Catholic athletics started in 2003, after our Little League team had been in the World Series. We got to meet the 2003 state champion Lancers. I remember meeting Coach Frecker for the first time, and that had a lasting effect on me. I wanted to play baseball at the highest level, and if they were the best, why wouldn't I go there? Plus ultra, more beyond. Those two words would mean so much to me over the next 4 years. To develop to your fullest potential in the classroom, on the field, and in your community. Immediately after starting my freshman year, I understood what that phrase truly meant and why it was so important. After attending my first fall captain's practice, I saw the intense level of competition that was at the school. The size of some of these guys and sound the ball made coming off their bat admittedly intimidated me, but I kept showing up. I refused to give Coach Freck any reason to write me off. I was willing to do whatever it took to make an impression. Coach Freck had the whole baseball team in the weight room every day, all year long. He showed me I needed to physically mature. Though Freck's coaching style would be considered somewhat unconventional by some, it was undoubtedly effective. He consistently had the best players in the North Shore competing deep into the state tournament. We had that rugged edge about us that others in the Catholic Conference lacked. He taught us that we weren't just a team, we were a family. We played for one another, and winning at all costs was the only outcome that mattered. I always had aspirations to play beyond high school, but had no idea how to start that process. Freck was around the game for so long and respected by so many that his players had priority in the recruiting circuits where college coaches would be able to see our talent. I wouldn't be where I am today without that exposure and being in front of the best colleges in the area. Freck always put his players first and in the best possible position to succeed. We had some amazing Lancer teams during my years here. My freshman year, I was fortunate enough to experience that higher level of play. A few of us younger guys got to go along for the ride in the state tournament, and we made it to the North Final. In 2008, we had arguably one of the best baseball seasons in school history, winning the Catholic Conference. We ultimately lost in heartbreaking fashion to BC High in the state semifinal, which still stings to this day. But that season, I was named the Catholic Conference All-Star and won the batting title, so at that point, there was really no looking back. After going through another summer of recruiting, I caught the eye of the Columbia University head coach and Beverly native, Brett Beretti. And in the fall of my senior year, I verbally committed to Columbia to play Division I baseball. One of my dreams was coming true, but we had unfinished business here. The values instilled in me at MC surfaced again. I was determined to avoid complacency, and our goal as a team was to win a state championship. Ultimately, we fell short, and I remember crying in the back of the bus, back from Beverly, with the realization that my high school career was over. The brotherhood we developed in the trenches would never be the same. That's how much those relationships meant to me. It was sad, but I look back on those moments and cherish them. Give me a reason to be nostalgic. I could sit there and reminisce for hours. As one chapter ended, another one began in New York City. The values instilled in me and the character I developed at Malden Catholic led me to continued success. The insatiable attitude, disregard for complacency, desire to be the best, and borderline arrogance on the field proved to be immensely valuable. Outwork everybody, never say never, and why not me? As the accolades piled up and I garnered interest from professional scouts, I could feel my childhood dream becoming a reality. 2012, I was drafted by the Mariners, played professionally for 10 years for them, the Mets, and Team Italy, reaching as high as AAA. I'll always cherish those times as a Lancer, though, playing with my lifelong brothers. A lot of them are right there that I played with at that table with Coach Freck. Good to see you all. Looking back, I could never have imagined this baseball journey and wild ride I've been on. I've been incredibly blessed to have these opportunities and eternally grateful for all the unwavering support. Lastly, but certainly not least, I want to thank my family. To my brother Donato, another fellow Lancer, and my sister Gianna, you don't realize how much I love you guys and how proud I am of you. I was never able to be at your games, birthdays, graduations, but you were at every one of mine. I know how hard that was, but still always felt your continued support. You were both instrumental in my success. I hope you realize that. And to my parents, Paul and Tracy, if it weren't for your unconditional love and endless support, I wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am today. No matter what was going on in their lives, they always put their children first. We were their priority, and they sacrificed so much to let us realize our dreams. They were at every game, from the first time I picked up a bat until I played my last game at Columbia and into my professional career. They took me all over the country to tournaments, showcases, college campuses, and everything in between. I can never express in words how truly grateful I am to you both. I love you guys. Lastly, there were so many that helped me along the way in my life to get here. Thank you to all the administrators, teachers, coaches, teammates, friends, and family that played a role. You are all incredibly important and vital to my success. So congratulations again to all the fellow inductees tonight. What an incredible honor it is to join those before us in Lancer history and be part of the Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you.
It is my privilege to introduce Our next inductee, Coach Steve Frecker. Coach Frecker has been at the helm of many teams in many sports throughout the years. He is in his 40th year of coaching high school sports in football, basketball, and baseball. In baseball, he's known to everyone as Coach Freck, and he has had a great deal of success at 3 schools, where he has accumulated 371 high school baseball victories and a number of championships. He has been inducted into the Malden High Golden Tornado Hall of Fame, the Intercity League Baseball Hall of Fame, and in 2016, the Massachusetts Baseball Coaches State Hall of Fame. He's also been named National High School Baseball Coaches Association Coach of the Year in 2003, and Boston Globe Division I All-Scholastic Coach of the Year twice in 1994 and 2008. Coach Freck's most successful stretch was his years as head coach at Malden Catholic, where he led the Lancers from 2000 to 2012. In that span, he led the team to a 182 and 93 overall record, including 11 trips to the MIAA Division I state tournament in the 13 seasons he coached. When the Lancers went to the postseason, they went deep, including an impressive 27-10 record in the postseason alone. That included 2 North Sectional Championships, 5 trips to the North Finals, and 1 Eastern Mass Championship. In 2003, Malden Catholic had the ultimate trip to the tournament, winning the MIAA Division I State Championship. In 2008, MC set a record with a 23-2 record, the most wins in school history, and was Catholic Conference champion. In those 13 seasons, MC produced 5 Catholic MVPs, 11 Globe All-Scholastics, 14 Boston Herald All-Scholastics, and 3 All-American selectees. There were 12 Division I scholarship players, 49 college players overall, and 7 players either drafted or signed by Major League Baseball, a total of 9 players overall who played professionally. The Lancers were ranked number 1 in the state on 5 different occasions in those years, and a total of 14 players were named captains of their college teams and set 7 collegiate records at their respective schools. Let's welcome Coach Steve Frecker.
Well, thank you. Before I start, I'd like to ask if you could indulge me. I'd like to have a quick moment of silence for some people that would be here. First, it would be the captain of our 2003 state championship team, Dave DiMaria. A top player from our 2017, Jake Halloran. A dear friend and mentor for many years, Coach Serino, Christy Serino, and well, my own father passed away this summer, Jack Frecker, Hammer and Jack, and also my football coach, who was very, very influential to me, Paul Finn. He passed away about a year ago, and also, it's not me. Also, that was Coach Serino. Last but not least, probably the biggest and best fans of all time that I can think of from all the Catholic athletics was Sal and Evelyn Bizet, Coach Bizet's parents. Just very brief moment of silence, please. They'd all be here if they could. Thank you. And he just got off, so I'm going to give you a quick Dario story. Right? When he was a freshman, we had 3 excellent freshman players. Dario, Matt Decato, who's sitting right there, and Tony Serino. So we're going to do with these people. Matt hadn't played a lot of baseball. I said, I'm going to take him right with me. His brother just graduated. I'm going to teach him myself. I want to make sure. So I put him on the varsity. And Tony Serino, not just because he's the AD's kid, but he was very good, very, very good. I said, I'm going to take him too. So we took him because his brother was on the team. He said, Dario is not going to progress here unless he's the man. Dario has to be the man. And yes, I said, Dario, come here. You're going to be the you're going to be the captain of the freshman team. And we expect you to go out there and win everything.
all right, coach, I can do that, So like a couple of weeks into the season, I said, Dario, come over here. I said, I heard you're batting 960. And you got like, you have like 27 RBIs, not 26. And you stole bases. He goes, yep, I stole 21 bases. And I'm batting 971, coach, on the freshman team. I said, okay, you keep it up, kid. And he did. And he had a great season. For 3 years, so he is the most hits in history, but he did in 3 years, not 4. So give it up. And one more quick thing. His junior year, he struck out twice, the whole season. His first 2 at bats. He didn't strike out the rest of the season. His senior year, he struck out his first at bat. He was devastated. That's the only time he struck out the whole season. He struck out once. He struck out 3 times his junior and senior years. That's pretty damn good. Nice job. And another, you named off a bunch of records, Dario. I've had 15 guys that played pro baseball that I played between Malden High School and Malden Catholic. And you're the longest playing pro player, so you get 10 years. That's outstanding. Congratulations, Dario. I'm trying to think of all the words for tonight. I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm thrilled, but the best word I can think of, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be standing here before you and talking about Malden Catholic. Who among us is not feels tremendous when you think you're being honored for a job you think you did well, the job you think you did well done. None of us. So I can honestly say I gave everything I had when I was here. I gave it my best. We tell the kids, leave it all in the field. Well, I honestly know that I did. I left everything I had when I was here. Time, effort, motivation, money. It was. But I really think I did a good job here. And in the time I was here, I actually sat down, I added it up. Catholic Conference is remarkably difficult to play in. And we used wood bats the whole time, and it was tough. So I added it up. Malden Catholic, the time that we were here, me and my coaches, not me and my coaches and players, the time we were here, we were the second most winning team in the time I was here, and that's Catholic Conference. We had the second most wins. And I'll tell you something. When we got here, it was not. No offense to the coaches that preceded us, but baseball was not really the marquee sport or anything close. But we did a real good job here. And overall, all things considered, I think that we were the best team. The best team. We didn't win the league every year. No, I'm talking about the best baseball team. I'm not talking about other sports. Sorry. There was that sport where you used a stick and you're up here. That team did pretty well too. So I did very well. I didn't mean that. I meant that we were the best baseball team. But anyways, speaking of that, I'll be forever grateful to Coach Mazzei and Brother Puccio for taking the chance on me. Let's face it, I did have a pretty good resume coming in, but I was intrigued by coaching in that league. I'm saying everybody here knows what the Catholic Conference is, and I was intrigued by it. I said I would like to take a shot at that, but I didn't go to Malden Catholic. I didn't work at Malden Catholic. I had nothing. I had nothing to do with Malden Catholic. Actually, I was probably not a fan. I was over on the other side of Malden. I'm in Malden, and look at the list of tonight's Hall of Fame. There's not every single person went to school here except me. But they took a chance on me. And I remember I wrote a letter application to Brother Puccio. And in that letter I said, Malden Catholic baseball is a sleeping giant. And that's what I thought, saying, why aren't they good? Why can't we be as good as you can go and tell players to come there. You don't have to have just the players in your own city. I said, we got to do something here. And it was a sleeping giant. I think we woke up the sleeping giant, and we were very, very good for a long time. And then I came here, I said, these people really do care about all the things that are important for a high school athlete. You know, they demand to have good academics. They demand to have people that are good school citizens. You know, and they expect excellence. And I think that you know, some of the finest people I've met through my relationships with Malden Catholic. Starting this guy right here, Brother Puccio. You wrote the best thing about me that I've ever read in my entire life. I like that right there. I'm going to put what you wrote in a frame. I'm going to keep that right beside. And Coach Mazzei, I can't believe someone that cares so much about people in a school as Coach Mazzei. And these two guys hired me and said, go get it. And I said, well, thank you. And I did. And we have so many other people that, like I said, the finest people. Jeff Smith. Jeff Smith is the hardest working, most loyal guy I've ever met, I think. You know, and he's still doing it. And he started off as a teacher the first year I came to Malden Catholic, and look at him now. He's running the place. Guy Prescott is, everyone knows Guy Prescott. He was my guest tonight. He wasn't feeling so well, so he couldn't make it. But have you ever met a guy like him? I don't think so. He puts everything he has into the place. And everybody, Elizabeth Paquette, who I saw tonight. Angel Lee, Mr. Hickey, Mr. Murray, Dave Guevaro. I'm saying these are all people that you know. They're all people that I was so happy to be around. And then I've met the newest people. Coach Raycraft, Mr. Thornburg. I've met in the staff, Diane and Shannon, and everyone. I've met all those people. But you know, I can't believe that Coach Mazzei is still doing it out at Notre Dame. You know, it's unbelievable. Thank you, Coach Mazzei, for keeping up the faith out there. And then, you know, of course, Coach Serino. You know, Coach Serino, rest his soul. He rang us up a little while ago. I'm saying he was simply brilliant. He's a brilliant coach and just a brilliant man. If you spend one day with him, you could learn probably everything there is to know about coaching, and put in an index card like this. It's like, you know, I couldn't believe it. And you never had to think what he's. You don't have to think about what Coach Serino's thinking about. He'll tell you. 3 days. I think he's there 3 days. He goes, Frank, Coach Frank, come on, get over here. He goes, I gotta talk to you. Get rid of the blanky shorts, put on some blank baseball pants, and go coach third base like everybody else. That's Coach Serino. And then when I remember I was in the cafeteria, he goes, Frank, come here, I gotta talk to you. Come over here. Hey, there's Mike Feck over there. Go over there and help Mike Feck with his admissions essay. He's coming into this school. I said, okay, I'll go and help him. He goes, I don't care what you write. You can write the whole thing. I don't care. Just go over and help him. So for the first time in my life, I wrote something and put someone's name on it, and it was my work. But honestly, I don't think the essay is what got Beck into the school. You can play a little bit. So, you know, like you said, we had a good run. You know, I'm not going to read all the records and all that stuff. But, 2003 won the state championship. Honestly, I hope I'm back at some point in the future talking about the 2003 team. But we had 13 teams. And that's why I'm very, very honored to be standing here myself, because I get to honor all the 13 teams we had. Not just the one. Maybe that would come, but and we came up in the it was an explosion. The Patriots won winning the championships with TB12. The Red Sox were winning. The Celtics won one. The Bruins. I'm saying it was like it really gave us a lot of energy. It wasn't that. It was a lot of fun coaching in the 2000s when all that happened. And then we won some games too. It was good, but I'll tell you, the one stat that I think I'm most proud of as a coach. 8 times we played teams that were ranked number 1 in the state. Like when it wasn't us, we were number 1 in the state a lot too. But when we played teams that were number 1 in the state, 8 times we were 8-0. We beat them every single time. But no, the thing was, like Dario said it, we would have been unconventional, I guess. But we really do the fundamentals, and I had some great coaches with me, and Mark Lepori is here tonight. John McGonigal was a coach with us. Mike Barbady sitting right there. Mike's been a coach with me for 10 years. He just got his own team at Salem Charter Academy. And also Mike Decato, 2005 Player of the Year. He coached with me as well. And I just want to give a lot of credit to my top assistant for so many years. He's here tonight as well, Dave Lightbody. And if I didn't have Dave Lightbody, I wouldn't be standing there right now. So thank you so much to all my coaches. That's the secret. Get people that are good against you. He batted like 990 against us in Malden. But the thing is with teams, and all the coaches in the room can know this, the key to be successful, I think, is you want to be the team that no one wants to play. No, I'll play Malden Catholic. Oh yeah, all right, it's not going to be easy. We'll go over there. We can probably beat them, but whatever. But you just want to make that big ass question mark. It's like, you going to win today? You got to miss the hand. No, I don't know. I don't know. You get them thinking, I don't know, and you're already ahead in the game. So that's what we did. And the other thing, I was talking with Mr. Conifrey, my athletic, I'm back coaching at Malden High School. I said the thing is, what's one of the reasons when you get, if you want to win, you got to have good athletes. If you have high-end athletes, what do a lot of them have in common? They're high-end. So what do they have? They're high motives. Stay out of their way. Don't try to tame these kids and make, well, you're going to be this, you're going to be that, you're going to be that. Baseball is a team sport. Not really. It's an individual sport. If you coach players and make them the best they can be, then you can make the teams. It's not hard making a batting model. The thing is what they said. You should teach them how to prepare to train and so forth. But I'm sorry to go on and on, but I'm pretty happy about being here. I'll be done in a second. But the thing is, I got some people here. And where's Smitty? This could be the only time in the world where we have the winningest high school baseball coach in Massachusetts history, Frank Carey, 746 wins, sitting right there. Hey Frank, wait Frank. All right, thank you Frank. In the same room with the winningest high school lacrosse coach in Massachusetts history, Rick Mazzei. In the same room? I got some good people here. 3 of my brothers are here, Jack, Gary, and Mike, and my sister's here, Karen, all Malden High School grads. All 3 of them were football captains in Malden. And they're all here tonight. And I meant to say Mayor Gary Christensen is my guest. I don't have to drop names, they're all sitting at my table. Mayor Christensen, thank you so much for coming here and honoring Malden Catholic and being a good friend all these years. Thank you. We got three football coaches that I coached with. I've coached with for a couple of years. I was the head coach, but now we have one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the state, head football coach from Malden, Witchy Exelholm. Thank you for coming tonight, Witchy. Another former captain, Winston June, defensive coordinator, Winston, and Richard Voltaire. Those guys are, Malden High School is blessed to have those guys. And also we have the director of recreation coordinator, Joe Levine, who takes care of all the parks. Thank you, Joe. And along with Coach Carey, we got Coach O'Brien from Linfield High School, very respected. And that table right there is we have some of the best players that have played at Malden Catholic. We start the Mount Rushmore with Steve Rashad, who's one of the best athletes ever to play at this school, led us to the championship. He couldn't make it. I talked to him. He sends his best wishes, Steve Rashad. He says he'll get to the next one as a guest of mine, because we're coming every year. But we've got 4 guys over there that not only were excellent college players, they all set records at their college in baseball. We got Matt Decato, winningest pitcher at Framingham State. Beside him is his brother Mike Decato, who has a record for most career appearances at UMass Amherst Division I, and also a former Division I Player of the Year at Malden Catholic. We got Jared Frenny, who set a record at UMass for most starts in a season, and also a All-Scholastic at Malden Catholic. And to his left, we got Pete Copa, record-setting most hit by pitches, Pete Copa. and had 12 home runs his senior year and played for the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels. And we also have Chris Labriola, former Catholic Conference Most Valuable Player. So we got some big time players over there. But that's the thing. That's the thing. It's the wins and the championships and all that. But what is it the most you get is relationships. And I'll tell you, I've been associated with some outstanding families and people, like I said. But the families especially Malden Catholic, which breeds family. The Pazzanos, the Copas, the Frennies, the Labriolas, Witowskis, all these great Malden Catholic families. But most of all, for me personally, it's the Decato family. Okay, 20 years, more than 20 years, I've been associated. I remember Sal came in with Mike when Mike was 14 years old. I said, and Sal's looking around the gym, I'm showing Sal around the gym. I said, Sal, Coach Mazzei and Brother Puccio told me to come here to put up banners on that wall. And 2 years later we did. So, I remember that day, Sal? You do, Sal? All right. And by the way, who doesn't love Sal? Give it up for Sal. I'm really done here. But no, and Mike and his brother, they both new parents again. But Mike Decato gave me one of the biggest honors of my life. He named me godfather of his son, Carter Michael. They're born in just a month ago. December. Okay, I'm good. So I went over 5 minutes, but everyone else is. So that's all right. But it was a remarkable time I spent here. I love watching the hockey team be so successful. I was at the Garden. I saw that. All the teams. I love watching Coach Mazzei play in the state championship game. But it's been real. It's been really exciting, and it's nice to know that things are building.
we were looking for a head baseball coach. He suggested Steve Frecker, and I said, okay, Brother Puccio, we had a committee to interview him, and Guy said to me, now, Coach, he doesn't talk a lot. You gotta realize during the interview, he's not gonna say much. So I think he saved it all for tonight. Let me say this, Steve, thanks. Thank you for remembering my mom and dad, and thanks, I appreciate it. I want to congratulate all the inductees to the Hall of Fame. This is quite an honor. When I got the call, I didn't believe it. To stand with these men and these teams, that means so much to a Malden Catholic. To have two of them be my players, some of them I taught in class, it's truly an honor. To be into the Brother Kremen Hall of Fame, I'm probably one of the only people here that can say that I actually coached freshman soccer, and Brother Kremen was the head soccer coach. So I've known Brother Kremen. He's a great friend. It's a great honor, and it's just, I'm really delighted to be here. I want to thank my family for their support. My sister Patricia, my grandniece Emily's there, my brother-in-law Fred, sister and brother-in-law flew up from Florida, my nephew David, who I'm going to mention a little bit later, Joe Masser, Hall of Famer, and his wife Lisa. And I'm honored tonight that two Holy Cross priests that I work with at the University of Notre Dame, Father Chris Rehagen and Father Tim Mouton, who is now at Stonehill, would come all this way to join me in this great honor. So I thank them for being here. I've been around MC a lot of years, but unlike probably all the other inductees, I did not want to go to Malden Catholic. I was an Everett Public School student. I went to Everett Public Schools my whole life, as did my whole family. I was born in 1956, so I was at the end of the 60s when it was time to go to high school. And my dad and mom always had one dream, and that was that their son would go to Notre Dame. And my sister Patricia, who's 4 years older than me, said to my mother and father, without me knowing, if you want him really to go to Notre Dame, you need to get him out of Everett High School. It's just not good right now with what's going on. And my mom and dad sat me down and they said, Rick, we think this is best for you, but we'd like you to try to get into Malden Catholic. Wasn't happy, but I would always do whatever my folks said. So I took the test, I got accepted, and I was going to go. And then my dad had a heart attack, and my mom realized they could not afford it. So she told Malden Catholic, and the brother at the time, the headmaster, Brother Roberta Stuffy, contacted my mom and asked her if she would come down. My mom and my uncle went down, and she said, brother, we just can't afford it. We don't know what's going to happen with my husband. And he said something that changed my life. He said to my mother, Mrs. Mazzei, you take care of Mr. Mazzei, and you let the Zavarian brothers take care of Richard. And that's in a lot of ways what happened. I went to Malden Catholic and it changed my life. I met legends of the Zavarian order. I met Plunkett Doherty, who I work with. That's how I got through, working on his work crew. I actually had Brother Miles McManus, Constance, in algebra class. I had these brothers that shaped me into who I was, and my sister was right. It was because of Malden Catholic that I was able to get to the University of Notre Dame. And it was there at Notre Dame that I first started to play lacrosse. And that's where it all changed. And that's why I'm standing here tonight. And it is amazing how people can change your lives. And to the Zavarian brothers, and those brothers, almost all of them now gone, what they meant to me and the way they instilled, what they instilled in me as a person is something that I will always treasure. And I guess this is my first time that I could publicly say that in front of people, what those men and the lay teachers I taught with when I went back to Malden Catholic, what they have meant to me, and it's why we have such a great school on Crystal Street, and it's why you had such a great school on Highland Avenue. It was because of those teachers and what they do and what they meant for the people that went to that school. Lacrosse. I played 4 years at Notre Dame. I got out of Notre Dame and I coached for 16 years at Beverly. I had a great program there. It was wonderful being at Beverly. And then I was athletic director. I loved being AD. And I was hired by Brother Richard Cook, who's in the room. And Brother Richard said to me once, I think we need to expand some sports at Malden Catholic. And I think we should try to get lacrosse. So Brother Richard Cook, I said, great, we'll get lacrosse. This is awesome. So I said, okay, we'll put in a lacrosse team, brother, it'll be all set. I said, we'll start to look for a coach. And he said, what? We're going to look for a coach? I said, what the hell are you going to do? I said, I'm going to stay at Beverly. I mean, that's a good program, brother. They don't know how to play lacrosse at Malden Catholic. And he said, well, you can stay at Beverly. You won't be athletic director at MC anymore. So I decided to put a club team in, and then in 1996, we put in lacrosse at Malden Catholic. That first season, we had never played. That first season, we went 12-4, made the state tournament, and we drew Duxbury, a powerhouse. And at halftime of that game, it was 5-5. It was 5-5. We ended up losing 12-5. But I remember what the coach, I'm honest with the losses sometimes. I'm not pleasant with losses. I'm not pleasant. But I remember the coach, who was a legend, he said to me at the end, he said, I kept on saying, how do we keep this game even to not embarrass this team? They're a brand new program. And he said at halftime, I told my guys, we just got to go play or they're going to actually beat us. That's Malden Catholic. I think that's the type of athletes we have. I think that's the type of students we have. Okay, they just believe in themselves. And I think it comes with being a small school. I think it was what you guys from the old school, the Blue Jackets, when you were so small. I think it was Malden Catholic. I think it was where we were located. I think it was, we were small. We're playing BC High, 1,800, and we have 500. It was something about being an MC athlete, an MC student, that made us what we were. It wasn't the wins and losses. It was the way we played. It was to be competitive. It was to be gentlemen. It was to play as hard as you could, but always represent blue and gold of Malden Catholic. That's what made us different. I also like to thank my assistants. Some of them are in the room. Coach Smith, Coach O'Neill, Coach Pulley. I cannot forget Coach Prescott. I'm sorry he could not be here tonight. You're only as good a head coach as you are as what your assistants are. Okay, I'm an old guy. All I do is scream. They're the guys that had to make sure the guys that were screaming at wouldn't scream back. Okay, but they were the ones that actually made it. They're the ones that actually made me the coach I was. And I will always be grateful for them. I was blessed at Malden Catholic with just awesome student athletes. I actually coached my nephew, David. For first game, you never played before. First game, I forget who we're playing. My mother and father never missed a game while they were alive. And my mother and sister are standing together, and my nephew's playing defense, and he did something just horrendous. Horrendous. And I just went and I said, David! And I'll leave it there. My mother, rest her soul, my sister says to my mother, I can't believe my brother yelled at my son like that. And my mother said, Patricia, he yells at everyone like that. Get over it. But to my players, I would never, ever, ever, ever be able to thank you for all you meant to me in the 16 years I coached at Malden Catholic. I'll never be able to thank you. We did things that I never thought a team could do as quickly as we did and as long as we did. And there are memories that, I mean, we won 6 straight Catholic Conference champions in a row, 6 straight. We beat St. John's Prep 9 times in a row. 9 times. We beat BC High so badly, they didn't want to come anymore. We just had something, and to raise those banners when your school as small as we were, and we were not respected when, as you said, Freck, when we first joined, when we first started, oh, it's Malden Catholic. And to take that, and then I'll never forget, and I don't want to talk, because I could talk forever, and I don't want to see, I haven't seen the chimes get up, they get close. But I want to just say one thing is, and it was that one win, in that awful, awful spring for the team of 2004, when we had to go down to Baltimore to play Mount St. Joseph's Academy, the #1 team in the country, after having buried one of our own, and we ended up beating them 8-7. It was the greatest win that I ever was involved in. I'll finish here, I promise, but I have to finish. The 2 people that most inspired me to be the man I am were Salvatore and Evelyn Mazzei. They taught me what it was to be a man, what it was to be a Christian man. They stood with me my entire time coaching. When I will remember their passing, I will always remember that it was the Malden Catholic lacrosse team that stood with me. That it was, both of them are here, Sean Layton and Ryan Rosa, that led my mother into St. Anthony's Church and led her out. And it was my assistant coaches and my nephew David that did the same for my dad when he passed. That will always stay with me, because that was told me what Malden Catholic is. I could have been 0-400. 400's just a number. It was the young men and how they acted and the way they were raised and the way they were made to believe that makes Malden Catholic what it is. And I'll tell you who would tell you that right now, it would be Sal and Evelyn Mazzei. So for all of the young men that made my mother and father feel so welcome, I accept this award, not for myself, but for the 2 people that made me who I am. I accept this for them, and I thank those players and the coaches for all you've done for me. In lacrosse, you always do one thing. At the end, before you leave the field, you raise your sticks. You call it sticks up, and then you yell your team. So I'd like you all to stand and raise a glass. A sticks up to those you love and those who have made you what you are. Let's do a sticks up. Think of Coach Sereno. Think of all those people that mean something to you. And on 3, we're going to go, we are, and you are going to respond with, you know what. Sticks up. We are MC. God bless you. Thank you.
Class of 1974. The newest inductee to the Brothers and Tremens Malden Catholic Athletics Hall of Fame. my privilege to introduce the final inductees of the evening, a team inductee, the 2010-2011 hockey team. Preseason #1 pick by hockey guru Jim Clark of the Boston Herald, the 2010-2011 team lived up to their billing and won the first state championship hockey title for Malden Catholic since 1974. An outstanding team led by legendary coach Chris Serino, parent of members of the class of 2007 and 9. This team firmly reestablished MC as a powerful New England hockey presence by winning a Catholic Conference championship and the first of 5 Super 8 titles, spanning a period of 6 years. The Lancers beat St. John's Prep 4-3 in overtime for the state championship in front of 8,000 fans at Boston Garden and brought home the trophy. The 2010-2011 team finished with a most impressive 21-2-2 record. The 2010-2011 hockey team. It is my privilege to introduce 3 speakers. I will read short introductions and they will be called upon to say a few words about the team and the 2010-2011 season as well. First, we will hear from CJ Serino. CJ is the eldest son of Chris Serino, of the beloved and legendary Malden Catholic AD and hockey coach from 2005 to 2012. He passed away in 2012 at the age of 63. CJ.
A lot of you knew my dad. If you knew him, you knew a couple things about him. First, he was a listener. And by that I mean he was listening for you to finish so he could start talking. And usually when he got going, he didn't stop. Secondly, he was an encourager. He appreciated everybody's abilities. He also knew your limitations. And he was very honest with you if you were going to participate on the ice, on the field, or not. And by that, if you showed you wanted to be there, he found a place for you. Meaning, whether it was being on the ice or the field or behind the scenes. He'd make you an equipment manager, he'd make you a water boy, whatever. If he saw you wanted to be part of the team, you were part of the team because to him, teammates were everything. And this would have been a great honor for him because it is the whole team. So, on behalf of my family, thank you.
Up next, on behalf of the coaches, Phil Antonelli of the class of 1992. Phil joined MC as an assistant hockey coach under Chris Serino in 2005 and was with Malden Catholic for over 13 years. He has been part of every Super 8 championship thus far, and in 2016 was named Boston Globe Division I Hockey Coach of the Year, and will speak as the assistant coach of the team. Phil.
Good evening, President Thornburg, faculty, staff, alumni, and Hall of Fame award recipients. It's been a wonderful evening so far, and I want to say thank you to the nomination committee for selecting 2010-2011 hockey team to be inducted into the Brother Kremen Hall of Fame. I'm standing here tonight before you in the absence of Coach Serino. Coach Serino's vision and leadership is what led this team to a Super 8 championship, and it was the start of many more successful years. It all begins on the Monday after Thanksgiving, and the goal was to skate the final practice on Saturday, March 19th, with hopes of playing in the championship on March 20th. The whole team bought into the ultimate goal, was to win the Super 8. Jim Clark of the Boston Herald had us as a preseason #1 pick. It's not easy to show up every day at practice, games, or to watch film with Coach Serino and put in 110%, because he would expect nothing less, and he would demand that of you. Coach would say our success is on how hard we practice, and if you focus and pay attention to the little things in detail. And he was a mastermind of that. He held everybody to a high standard, and himself to a higher standard, and would never go unnoticed. Everyone was always prepared, and there was never a thought on what am I supposed to do, because if there was, he wouldn't have you out there. When I say this, next line, this is the truth, because what CJ just resembled. The team, from the first line to the managers, knew what was expected of them every day, and us coaches, at practices or games, to make sure we were successful. He didn't care where you were or who you were. He expected you to do your job. That's not a Bill Belichick saying, that's a Chris Serino saying. Of course, Bill Belichick mastered it, but he did not care if you were a manager or the water boy. He didn't care if you were scoring 40 goals. Everyone was part of this team, and you had a job to do. Captain Michael Vecchione was very instrumental in leading this team. He had one goal, to win a championship before he left Malden Catholic. The line of Michael Vecchione, Brendan Collier, and Ryan Fitzgerald was unmatched that season. Senior Pat Young was in net for the Lancers. Unfortunately, Michael and Ryan can't be here this evening due to their professional contracts. On March 20th, 2011, we filled our goal of winning a Super 8 championship. Brendan Collier scored the winning goal in OT to beat St. John's Prep, 4-3. Mission accomplished. I still see him in the middle of the ice doing the swan dive. As I think about that on a personal note, Coach Serino looked at me. Tyler Sifflin was a freshman that year, and he got some shifts. And Coach looked at me and was like, these kids are dead. Get Siff ready. I'm looking at him, I go, a freshman, OT, get him ready? Okay, that's what he said. I squat down, I have Pat Driscoll to my left. All of a sudden, I go to say something to him in his ear, and Pat's jumping up and down. I'm like, what just happened? And there's Brendan going across the ice. Talk about a magical moment. MC won its first Super 8 title. It was the last team to win a state championship. Was the 1974 team here at MC. The 2010-2011 team reestablished themselves as a hockey powerhouse. MC went on to win 4 more Super 8 championships over the next 5 years. This team was very instrumental in the upcoming year's success and how we can continue to build the program. In the locker room after the game, Coach Serino could be heard saying, we went box to wire. Many teams couldn't say that they accomplished that. So if tonight, in remembrance of Coach, he demanded a lot, but he earned a lot of people's respect, because he never spoke with a forked tongue. He said what he had to say, and I'm forever grateful for that, and he told you where you stood. And there's no shying away from that. And you might have not liked hearing it, but he used to say the truth was like surgery. It hurts, but it cures. And he's 100% right. So to him, we stand here before you tonight, Coach. This is for you. So to the 2010-2011 hockey team, thank you personally from me and all the coaches for everything you did every day to overcome, adapt, and adjust to what we asked of you. Thank you for all the great memories in and outside that locker room. And thank you all for being here tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you again.
And finally, the class of 2012, Brendan Collier. MC forward Brendan Collier scored the game-winning goal, as you just heard, for the Malden Catholic victory over St. John's Prep in overtime to win the 2011 Super 8 Hockey Championship at the Garden. He was drafted into the NHL in 2011 by the Carolina Hurricanes and had a successful collegiate career academically and in athletics at BU and Northeastern. Brendan is currently the assistant varsity hockey coach at BC High and will speak on head coach. The head coach, excuse me. I didn't write this. And will speak on behalf of the team, Brendan Collier.
First off, I actually sent my speech to Phil about 2 days ago, and it sounds awfully familiar, so you're going to hear a lot of the same things. I think you took it from me first off. Secondly, I'm speaking on behalf of our whole entire team, so I would like to ask the whole entire 2011 team to come up here if you can. I'm honored to speak on behalf of the 2011 team. Cannot express how difficult it was to try to highlight this team in 2 to 3 minutes, which now I know is 18 to 21 minutes. I just want to congratulate all the coaches and athletes here tonight on their remarkable accolades and admittance into the Brother Daniel Kremen Hall of Fame. For the 2011 team, sadly, at the service level, as Phil said, people saw us as box to wire, no one ranked preseason team with a 21-2-2 record capped off with a Division 1A Super 8 championship. I say sadly because people outside of Malden Catholic were unable to see behind the scenes of what truly made this team special. Not just on the ice, but in the Malden Catholic community, it truly was a special time to be at school. We were a team bonded from the Monday after Thanksgiving in 2010, and our team bonded eternally with the 2011 championship. To this day, if you put any of us in a room together, we cannot go 15 minutes without exchanging stories from that special year. If given the option to go back to that year not knowing the outcome was guaranteed, I would choose it 10 out of 10 times because of how highly I think of that team and the people who are on it. In closing, I just want to say thank you to our 2011 coaches and how much we miss and love our fearless leader, Coach Serino. I can only wonder if the Hall of Fame trophy plaque would have wound up in the trash, just like the 2011 MIA State Championship trophy did at Prince Pizza on March 20th, 2011 by accident while he was doing his favorite thing, taking pictures. Probably still wouldn't admit to it to this day, as we know he was never wrong. But again, on behalf of the 2011 Malden Catholic team, thank you for this honor, and I think this is appropriate for us to continue building this legacy that this team deserves. Thank you.